Imagine being submerged in an ocean of endless homework and relentless exams, with 2 tests to take and at least 4 hours of homework every day. For countless students in China, this is their reality. Strict academic demands from parents and teachers, along with an intense desire to excel in grades and enter prestigious universities, have almost become the entirety of their lives. They're trapped within a colossal external evaluation standard where scores have most become the sole criterion for academic advancement, a total of 160 million students. I still remember when I was in the middle school in China, during the most intense period of study, the back of our classroom was always filled with transcripts from every exam. Every student name was overshadowed by a student number, and scores are ranked from highest to lowest. Every time the result was posted, we had crowded into a narrow space at the back, tiptoeing to find our own lines among the dense rows of numbers. As my trembling fingertip glided from the promising top toward the uncertain depths, a sense of exhilaration gradually yielded to a quiet disappointment, ultimately dissolving into a quiet acceptance of my own ranking. It has become a very tangible hierarchy. From the top to the bottom, each person represented by a line, with the lines above pressing down on those below, weight bearing down incessantly. Cheers, groans, complaints filled the hot and humid air, making it hard to breathe. At that time, we had 2 exams every single day. The countless hopes and disappointment has numbed me. The rows of number has become the drop of water falling into a lake, returning to calm after a ripple. Our scores would eventually become the airtight data in exam analysis, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. I kept asking myself, what is the purpose of me working so hard? For good grades? To get into top high school? Then what else? Placement exam in high school, college entrance exam, or even the graduate school exams. These exams are just part of our life, but is our life defined by scores? Absolutely not. However, this system has deeply embedded itself in the hearts of every Chinese student. They keep climbing the ladder of the scores, not realizing they have fallen into the abyss of this distorted evaluation system. This blind pursuit of good grades and prestigious schools are not limited to China. They're also prevalent in the United States. Albert Einstein once said, "Everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Everyone is a genius and cannot be confined by other perception or a single external evaluation standard. Meeting the requirement of the standard is just a process, not the ultimate destination. We should realize there's no absolutely objective or rational standard that could really evaluate a person's ability. Blindly pursuing this requirement will only homogenize more people, leading to decline in academic innovation. As students, we should realize that innovation is boundless, far beyond the evaluation system, cannot be measured by scores. Our thoughts are unique and priceless treasures. As Martin Luther King Jr. hoped, a man should be judged not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. Our value should not be confined to the scores and rankings, but should really come from our unique inner qualities and talents. Of course, society itself should establish a more diverse evaluation system and foster a public opinion environment that embraces differences. The best way for individuals to escape the meritocracy trap is to find a development path that suits themselves, rather than merely following the crowd or proving they're not inferior to others. Furthermore, we must dare to challenge authority, discern right from wrong, and possess self-awareness. Some people say, since we are within a system, we should learn to accept it. But when faced with a flawed system, don't we even have the courage to challenge and seek the truth? Are you really willing to accept the system silently and compromise with such injustice? Take the white paper movement in China in late 2022 as an example. Sparked by a deadly apartment fire in Xinjiang, where the strict COVID-19 lockdown measures reportedly hindered the rescue effort. This movement became a rare and widespread act of civil disobedience. Protesters held up blank sheets of paper, a symbol of censorship and oppression of freedom of speech, as they peacefully criticized the government's hard zero COVID-19 policies. The demonstrators, even under strong police surveillance and oppressions, they took to the streets across the major cities like Beijing and Shanghai, chanting slogans demanding freedom and government accountability. Their efforts ultimately forced the authority to roll back the restrictive COVID-19 measures, marking a significant moment of public resistance in the modern Chinese history. In the white paper movement, when faced with injustice and oppressions, people shows the importance of daring to voice our doubts rather than passively and mindlessly accepting the status quo, something that today's students notably lack. This is the courage that we need to remain clear-headed within the system, have the courage to challenge and seek the truth. If we accept this injustice out of fear, we essentially legitimize its existence and allow the flawed system to persist. True awareness is not just about recognizing the reality, but also about having the bravery to challenge and change it. Only then can society progress toward greater justice and freedom. Finally, we should explore a new field and discover our self-worth. Helen Keller, despite losing her sight and hearing, was not defeated by her fate. She learned multiple languages, became a writer and educator, and inspired countless people. As Ralph Emerson pointed out, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead, there's no path, and leave a trail. Helen Keller's story tells us, as long as we dare to explore, we can discover infinite possibilities. The world is vast, opportunities are many. We should not be confined to scores and rankings, but should bravely pursue what we truly love. Of course, exploring new fields also means accepting the new challenges and surpassing ourselves. In this process, we will encounter difficulties and setbacks, but it is these experiences that make us more resilient and mature. So, what is the ultimate goal of our education? Is it to stand out in grades, enter prestigious universities, and obtain high degrees? Or is it to enable our future selves to live a better life and realize our life ideals and dreams? When I pose this question to my friends, they all feel silent. Indeed, even though we have been educated for many years, we're still struggling to clarify our professional direction and career plans, even feeling ambiguous about our life ideals. What is more thought-provoking is that many of my friends are still within the Chinese education system with little opportunity to strive for their true goals. Perhaps we need to pause our hurried step temporarily and seriously think about what we truly love and how we can achieve it. As I mentioned earlier, the grades and scores are just part of the learning process. It's not the ultimate destination. Only when we set the right direction can we maintain the motivation forward on this long academic journey. Instead of blindly pursuing these grades and prestigious schools, we should brightly strive for our life ideals and dreams. Such life is more meaningful and colorful. Maybe listen to the voice within and find our own calling is much more important than any external success. I know my words alone cannot change the current state of the system, but I hope that more people could realize the importance of pursuing our true self. Only when the collective consciousness raises to the point of daring breakthrough tradition can real societal change become possible. So let us break free from the chains of scores and rankings and set our sight on a broader horizon. Do not let the number define who we are or allow the rigid system to dictate our future. Do not let the meritocracy trap enslave our spirit. Only by realizing our fullest potential can we achieve the true fulfillment and happiness. The world is vast, opportunities are infinite. Let us define success not by the scores and rankings, but by the depth of our character and the impact of our action. Our time is now.